So can you say that again? Is it what? Yeah, pull it in, pull it in. All right, give me 1 second. Let me just pull up these notes. So lucky that one came up wrong. Give me 1 second. All right, this is the I.S.U.P.K Wednesday law class. So okay, the mic was off. All right, this is the I.S.U.P.K Wednesday law class. Also, remember, check out Commanding GEN.YAHANNA's radio show, which is Monday night, 2 a.m. UK time. It's 1 a.m. for now because our clocks go what? Back or forward? Our clocks go forward, right? Is it forward? Yeah, our clocks go forward. Usually it is the end of March, I believe. So our clocks will be going forward soon. Also, check out the classes Tuesday through Friday. Check out all those things, man. Listen, we're the only ones doing classes right now. Listen, your pastor ain't doing no more classes no more, man. His classes is shut down, man. His building shut down, man. We're still posting our address. And also another thing, man. Let you know something. Today they announced that all the schools is closing down. Listen, man, you strong, independent black women now, man. You're gonna have to take Tyrone to the nail shop with you now, man. Tyrone's gonna have to come to the nail shop with you, man. Little Tyrone that I used to drop off at school and use school 6 hours, right? Used to use them 6 hours to get your nails done and glam yourself up. Listen, man, you're gonna have to take those kids to the nail salon with you now, man. So much for being strong and independent. Who's gonna babysit now? Which is letting you know all these things which is taking place. The Lord's causing these things to take place, man. A lot of these strong, independent women is silent now, man. I can't hear a peep out of them. I can't hear a peep out of them, man. I've been trying to hear one. I can't hear none of them right now, man. Pull me that article if you could. Type in UK schools closed. And then now, another thing as well, man. You're going to find out how rude them kids really are. You see, when those kids got suspended from school and you blame the teacher, you're going to realize it weren't the teacher's fault, man. You're going to realize these kids had no discipline, no manners. You're about to realize, man, that these kids you're raising, that you haven't been raising them right. Now that you're going to be stuck in the house all day with them, you know what they said? They said they're going to be closed till what? Is it further notice? They said it's going to be closed till further notice. When someone says something about further notice, that sounds like a long time to me. Yeah, it closes from Friday. Read that article for me. Any of them should. Yeah, read them. So now you know how it is with us in the UPK. We go into articles, we go into the news, we go into books. And today, look, man, we're going into the news, man. You people that say all we do is read the Bible all day. We're reading from the news article today. This is from BBC News. BBC News is why we pay TV license, man. Because of the BBC. This is why we pay TV license. So now we're gonna read from BBC News. Go ahead.
Coronavirus, UK schools to close on Friday.
UK schools to close, man. And depending on which job you do, they ain't gonna pay you for time off. Some jobs ain't gonna pay you for time off. Some jobs is talking about taking unpaid leave. Like if you work in hotels and so forth, they're saying to staff, take unpaid leave. Now everybody knows what that means, man. That means you take the time off, but you're not being paid for it. Now, them bills still have to be paid, man. And black people's been in a situation where for years we've been going to work with viruses, man. We've been going to work for years with the flu. We've been going to work for years with the cold. What? You think our grandmas didn't get sick when they was working 3 jobs when they came from Jamaica? Listen, man, they couldn't have a day off. They couldn't have a day off. So these plagues that the Lord's sending, these heathens need to receive more of these plagues, man. We welcome this coronavirus, man. We know the Lord's doing his work, man. The Lord has gave them angels a job to do. And that's the job that they're doing, man. Pestilence and disease and so forth. Got the whole earth in lockdown. People in the UK are scared, talking about, oh yeah, they're bringing tanks, Listen, man, who cares if they're bringing tanks, man? They shot Mark Duggan to death and they didn't have no tanks, man. Black people are worrying about the wrong thing. They're bringing tanks, the New World Order. Listen, man, you're talking about this New World Order. This New World Order's been in place since Esau took over, man. You're thinking you live in something new. You're thinking tomorrow the tables is going to turn. Nah, man. You've been living in certain conditions your whole life. Listen, you've been living in a new world from you got took into slavery, man. First of all, you started where? The land of Israel. You fled into West Africa, and then they took you to the Caribbean. You've been living in a new world ever since then. And then now you're in England, man. I mean, what do you think is going to change for you? Nothing, man. People get high and start talking about all these stuff. Talking about, oh, the coronavirus was made in a lab. Meanwhile, they're smoking all kinds of drugs. Like, first of all, if you're smoking, the plague that you're going to get, which is cancer, is worse than the coronavirus. At least people get coronavirus and recover. Now, you getting cancer, the chances of you recovering ain't easy, man. What happens? You have to go through chemo, lose all your hair, you become weak, all that radio. Oh, people talking about 5G internet strips. First of all, chemotherapy is radiation as well, right? But you still smoke and then you have chemo. I mean, you people that's talking about you're not having 5G because of radiation, don't if that's the case, don't use the microwave then. So forth. Stop being so simple, man. Listen, if the Lord wants to kill you, but read the article for me.
Schools in the UK are shut from Friday.
Schools in the UK are shut from Friday. It's Wednesday today. 2 days, and those badass kids is staying at home, man. Those kids which is terrorizing them teachers, they're staying at home with you, man. Now, if you raised your kids good from the get-go, you wouldn't have to worry about these kids being monsters and terrorizing you now. Go ahead.
From Friday until further notice.
Until when?
Further notice.
Until further notice, man. Until further notice. Now, most of you sisters that had time to go be busybodies, the Lord's gave you some work to do now, man. Them schools is shut until further notice, which means what? You have to stay in and watch them kids. And we all know you're going to drop them at your grandma's house. We all know grandma's going to watch those kids. But those schools is shut till further notice. And if you're wise, what you would do is, while your kids are off, don't let them play video games all day, man. Let them do some work, man. Teach them certain things. Because how it works out in school is you spend most of your in school, what happens is you spend most of your time with your teacher, you spend more time with your teacher than you do your own parents. So it would only be right as a parent that you spend time with your kids, man. Give them some work to do, see what level they're at. Don't let them just think, oh, because they're not at school, they're on holiday. Still let them keep the same bedtime, man. Still treat them like they're still at school. That's how you do it, man. Don't let them think they're going to be off school and they're going to be playing outside every day. Besides, the city's going to be shut down. They ain't going to be playing outside. Read on.
As a response to the corona pandemic.
As a response to the corona pandemic, man. Go ahead.
Schools will close except for looking after the children of key workers and vulnerable children. Prime Minister Boris Johnson.
Meaning schools is going to close except them looking after the vulnerable children. Boris Johnson has said. So listen, man. You don't want to believe us. Believe Boris Johnson when he tells you these schools is going to be shut down. The supermarkets is going to be shut down. They're doing a thing as well for the elderly where the elderly get to it's like peak times where the elderly get to shut first. Man. They're doing it in Iceland. Any of you elderly sisters want to accompany me to Iceland so we can, let's be wise about it. They're saying the elderly can go to Iceland. We'll come and help you do the shopping so we can get the toilet roll and everything that's running out, man. So we can get the the white rice and the flour. And when you go to the stores, what Esau's buying is all the chocolate bars. They're buying things like chocolate bars, and then you will look and all the black man seasonings is still left there, man. All the seasonings is still left on the shelf. Like these times, you need to know what to buy. Like you meant to buy oil, rice, flour, so you can make things like fritters, make things like dumplings. But guess what? While we was telling you sisters learn how to cook, you didn't want to learn, man. So now you're going to be looking at a bag of flour thinking, what can I do with it? You ain't going to know what to do with that bag of flour, man. You ain't going to know what to do with that bag of self-raising flour. And this is why if you listen to us from time ago, you would have had a cookbook and known what you can make from scratch. Like Commanding General Yohanna once said, learn how to make biscuits from scratch. You would have known how to make biscuits from scratch by now, man, if you was listening to us. But now, guess what? You're in the house with a bag of flour and you don't know what to do with it, man. So now you're looking for ready meals. You're looking for ready meals now. Read on.
The academic year exams will not go ahead.
And now the academic year exams will not go ahead, which means if you've got older kids who wasn't set to receive good results anyway, listen, man, the Lord's giving you time to make sure they can get them results up. They've got time to get them results up, man. They've got time to learn what they're slacking in. Or you can drop the article, give me Ecclesiasticus chapter 30 and verse 7. So we're going to go into the Apocrypha. The book of Ecclesiasticus chapter 30 and verse 7. We're going to go into a few topics tonight, man. Tonight we're going to talk about how your pastors have shut up the churches and how they've gone quiet. We're also going to talk about 7 women shall take hold of thee. We're also going to talk about how everyone's going to need a man of God in this day and age, man. People are going to need a man of God in this day and age, man. Go ahead.
Ecclesiasticus 30 and 7. He that maketh too much of his son shall bind up his wounds.
He that what?
Maketh too much of his son shall bind up his wounds.
He that maketh too much of his son shall bind up his wounds, man. Meaning what? Meaning what? You making too much of your son is you thinking your son's perfect and good and your son does no wrong and your son does nothing wrong. Kind of like what mothers do when their kids go to school, man. Listen, plenty of times my mum binded up my wounds when I was in school, man. She covered up what? All the wrongdoings that I was doing. All the wrongs I was doing, she covered it up. I got suspended from school. She said, oh, the teachers just don't like him. The teachers just don't like him. The teachers is picking on him. That's what a ton of our women say about their kids, man. The teachers is picking on him for no reason because he's a good kid. Read on.
And his bowels will be troubled at every cry.
Go ahead.
As a horse not broken.
As a horse not broken, meaning when you have a horse, you have to discipline this horse, man. Meaning, how do you break this horse? You whack this horse with the stick, man, if that's what they call it. You hit this horse with the stick. That's how you break that horse. Go ahead. So that's how you break that horse, man. You have to hit that horse with that stick. That's why riders is always what? Them jockeying and hitting the horse and whatnot. You have to discipline your horse, and that's what the Bible says. A horse not broken. Go ahead.
And a horse not broken becometh headstrong.
What does it mean, man? Headstrong meaning this horse does whatever it wants. Don't listen, will buck you and whatnot. That's like these kids. These kids have become headstrong. You know why? Because you ain't broke these kids. You ain't disciplined them. So now you're about to reap what you've sown, man. Because now these kids is going to be off school. These kids which is terrorizing the neighborhood, terrorizing everybody, they're going to be off school. Like Boris Johnson said, they're going to be off school for the foreseeable future. Go ahead. Someone said until September. I don't know how true that is, but that's a long time. Listen, you're going to pull your hair out, man. If you ain't raised them kids right, go ahead.
And a child left to himself will be willful.
Go ahead.
Conquer thy child.
Conquer thy child means beat and discipline your child, man. That's what we were supposed to do. Yeah, Salakia, that's not that part. Salakia, Kaka means play with them. Salakia means you're playing with them, man. You being nice to them and whatnot. Go ahead.
And he will make thee afraid.
And what?
He will make thee afraid.
Meaning you playing with your kid too much, being nice with them, you allowing your daughter to put on these mini skirts, allowing your daughter to get her nails done at the age of 5, allowing her to get these eyebrows and all these things. The time's coming where they're going to make you afraid, man. The time's coming when what? Your son's going to come in the house and say he wants to be a woman, man. The time's coming when your daughter is going to come in the house telling you that she's pregnant, man. Because what? You cocked your child, man. You played with them too much. You played with them and you laughed when they were swearing their head off. Once that you gave your child some of your cigarettes, man. You allowed your child to smoke, man. You played with them and thought it was a joke. And your child goes to school and terrorizes everybody in that school. And the teacher's coming and speaking to you as a parent saying, you know, your child needs some discipline. Your child's doing this. And you want to attack the teacher. You want to fight the teacher because you've cocked your child. Now, the time's coming now. Your child's about to make you afraid in that house, man. Your child's about to make you afraid in that house. Now you're stuck with them, man. Now you're about to reap what you've sown. You're stuck with that little monster for the foreseeable future. Go ahead.
Play with him, and he will bring thee to heaviness.
Play with him and what?
Play with him, and he will bring thee to heaviness.
Play with him and he will bring it to heaviness, man. Everybody knows what that means. Your child will be the next child on the news that's murdered somebody else's innocent child, man. Don't be playing with your kids, man. That's what the Bible says, man. Don't be playing with your kids too much. Now, you women and that was playing with your kids too much, now you've got till September to entertain them, man. They're going to bring you to heaviness. They're going to tell you they ain't studying. They're going to tell you they ain't cleaning the house. They're going to be treating this time off like they're on a holiday, man. Because what? You cocked your child. Listen, we've been telling you for ages, rule over your kids, discipline your kids. We've been telling you, but nobody wanted to listen. So now it's took the coronavirus, man. It's took the coronavirus for people to realize, oh, what am I going to do now? What am I going to do now? We got the answers in the I.S.U.P.K, man. We have the answers. They don't have the answers in what's that church called on Villa Road? The big one. In the New Testament Church of God. They ain't got the answers in the New Testament Church of God, man. They ain't got the answers, man. We have all the answers in the I.S.U.P.K. Read on.
Laugh not with him.
Laugh not with him, man. You've been playing with your child too much, man. And now they're going to bring you to heaviness. Now they're off till September. Go ahead.
Lest thou sorrow with him.
Lest you're going to sorrow with him, man. You're going to be sorrowful and you're going to be like, why is my son this way? Why has my son turned out like this? Why does my son want to put on a dress like Dwayne Wade's son? Why does my son want to be like Will Smith's son? Because you played with them too much, man. And that's going to be the end result. Don't play with them kids, man. This ain't a game. You raised it. Listen, my father didn't play with me, man. My father didn't play with me. Listen, I didn't live with him. My father came around every time it was time for discipline. As a black man, when you grow up living with your mom, you know you can pull the wool over your mom's eyes and your mom's going to be caring and do everything that you say. And say, Mom, you know them teachers, the gala infamy. These times, you're the problem, man. Read on.
Unless thou gnash thy teeth in the end.
Listen, man. You're going to sigh in the end, man. You're going to grit your teeth, man, and be like, why is my son turned out this way? You're going to grit your teeth and be like, oh, man, why has my son turned out this way? And the reason is because what? You played with them too much, man. You didn't instill no discipline. You let them run around and do whatever they want. You didn't give them no curfew. You let your kids run around, come out, finish school, playing outside in their school uniform, man. Let your kids do all of those kind of things. Go ahead.
Give him no liberty.
Give him what?
No liberty.
Listen, man, liberty is what? Freedom. You give your kids too much freedom, man. You give your kids too much freedom to know what? Your son's 11 years old telling you his girlfriend's coming around to the house, man. Telling you, mom, stay in your bedroom because we're using the living room, man. You give your kids too much freedom, man. The Bible says don't give them no liberty. Liberty means freedom. Once you give your kids too much freedom, those kids are going to end up ruling over you, telling you what they're going to do. Before you know it, you're looking for your car keys, your car's gone because your kids got it, man. They don't even respect you in that. They crash your car and say, don't worry, mom, buy another one because you give them too much liberty. They're selling drugs from outside of the house, man, because you give them too much liberty. They're smoking weed in the living room, man, because you give them too much liberty. The Bible says don't give them too much liberty, man, or you're going to gnash your teeth and they're going to bring you to heaviness. Go ahead.
Give him no liberty in his youth.
Give him no liberty in his youth, meaning when he's young. Because if you give him that liberty in his youth, when he grows up, you can't tell him nothing, man. Every black man knows this. Once upon a time, your mom used to beat you, man. Your mom used to beat you. And then when you block your mom's first punch. You block your mom's first punch. Your mom goes and tells the whole family how you tried to fight her and he's getting too big, he tried to fight me. When really you just defending yourself, you blocked your mom's punch, man. I remember my mom tried to slap me one time. Sidestep. Listen, man. Ever since that day, your mom understands, you know what? Ever since that day, your mom understands I can't discipline him no more, man. He's about 6'2". I'm 5 foot something. I tried to slap him the other day and he blocked it, man. Listen, man. Once they get to that stage, that child's too old now. That child's too old for you trying to be taking away that liberty. You trying to be taking away that freedom. You trying to be instilling discipline in the house. That ain't gonna work, man. Read on.
And wink not at his follies.
And what?
Wink not at his follies.
And that means to turn a blind eye, man. Don't turn a blind eye to his foolishness, man. Don't turn a blind eye to his foolishness. Your child does something dumb. You pull them up about it. You tell them, don't do that again. If you just wink at it, guess what's going to happen? They're going to keep doing it, man, until the time comes where you can't tell them nothing. And these kids is growing up so quick. that by the time they're 14, 15, you can't tell them a damn thing, man. So you need to discipline your child from young before it gets to this stage, man. And now you're going to be stuck in the house with them for this foreseeable future. Now you're stuck in the house with them until when? Until maybe September. Read on.
Bow down his neck while he's young.
Bow down his neck while he's young, man. You have them kids in order, man. That's what black people need to do. Have them kids in order while they're young. Go ahead.
And beat him on the sides.
And listen, man. Discipline them, but also remember, don't be like how our parents was, where they beat you so much and they don't tell you why they're beating you, man. You can also speak to them. You can also tell them what they're doing wrong, how to make it right. The first what's it called doesn't have to be you beating them with a belt. And black parents like to beat you with what? The buckle, man. They like to beat you with the buckle, the wooden spoon, the broom, the break the broom over your back. You don't need to go that far, man. You can correct them kids. You see how we do it in the UPK, where we sit, where you sit brothers down and you give the men under you a check-in when they do wrong. First of all, you can tell them, yo, you messed up, man. Don't do that again. Saying like the men over you do it with you. You can instill that in your house, man. Discipline your kids that way. You don't need to go break a broom over their back, beat them with whatever you can find in the house. And after all of that, they still don't know what they've done wrong. After all that, they still don't know what they've done wrong. You correct them and you tell them, man, don't do it again. You tell them what they've done, why you telling them don't do that, why they shouldn't do it, man. I mean, treat your kids like the humans, man. You don't need to beat them half to death, man. Go ahead. Oh, they are in it. Exactly. Exactly. If Caroline Flack waited a few more months, she wouldn't have to have committed suicide, man. All these little cases, they're kind of writing off all these cases, man. You see all these cases, they're dealing with a bigger problem. They're dealing with the coronavirus. So now, if you had a little case, they're suspending sentencing for most cases, man. Which means what? If you're a criminal, you still got a little bit of freedom, man. Because you better hope this coronavirus lasts a little longer, man. So you can keep your freedom. Go ahead. And if you got any questions, just type them in.
Lest he wax stubborn and be disobedient.
Lest he wax stubborn, man, and he be disobedient. And now, you mothers staying home with them rude kids, you're going to realize how disobedient those kids are, man. You're going to realize what the teacher had to go through. Now you're going to want to apologize to that teacher, man. Now you're going to be like, I see why these teachers kept suspending little Timothy and little Jermaine. Now you're going to see why Jermaine got suspended, man. Now you're going to see why Timothy got suspended. Because of his behavior, man. Because of his disobedience. Because what? You didn't bow down his neck from he was a youth, like the scripture says. Read on.
And be disobedient unto thee, so bring sorrow to thine heart.
And bring what?
Sorrow to thine heart.
And listen, man. Plenty of our women, their kids have brought sorrow to them, man. Plenty of our sisters, their kids have brought sorrow to their heart. It must bring sorrow to your heart when your daughter's 14 and pregnant and doesn't know who the father is, man. That must bring sorrow to your heart, man. Imagine you being a black man and you knowing before you came in this truth, how you used to deal with women, man. Knowing how you used to deal with women, go to free houses, tell them, invite me around when your parents is gone. Just imagine finding out someone's done that to your daughter, man. Imagine a man in the world that's still doing this. Imagine you find that your daughter's pregnant at 14 and she don't know who the baby father is, man. That would bring sorrow to your heart. You have to go to your friends and your family and say, oh yeah, she's pregnant, but she's doing a paternity test. She's doing that. That's embarrassing, man. That would bring sorrow to any man's heart. Imagine finding out your daughter's a hoe, man. Listen, man, that would bring sorrow to any man's heart. Remember that little girl that you thought was so cute and you used to change her nappies and you was like, oh, my daughter's so cute. Imagine, guess what? Some next man's done used there. A few men's done used there. And she's having a baby at 14, man. She's having a baby at 14. And she don't know who that baby father is, man. That must bring sorrow to your heart, knowing how you used to deal with these kind of women, knowing how you used to call these women hoes and sluts and whores and slappers and everything. A Jamaican term is a sketal, man. What is it, a sketal? No, you used to call them a sketal, man. Imagine, because your daughter ain't been raised right. Now someone calls her all these things. Now you have to put your head down in shame, knowing, oh, my daughter's some whore. My daughter's done had sex with everyone that lives on the road. As soon as I drive off the road and take a right, this man, this boy's turning right into my driveway, man. Just imagine. Listen, man. As a nation, we need to do better. There's tons of people that have to find out their daughters are whore that way, man. These daughters try and hide the pregnancy like the dad ain't gonna find out one day. Read on.
Chastise thy son and hold him to
And if we chastised our sons would do what? Stop turning other men's daughters into whores, man. If we taught our sons right, they would stop turning daughters into whores. You see, like how we've got sons and daughters. If we disciplined our sons, they wouldn't deal with whores. And if we disciplined our daughters, they wouldn't become whores. If we done that as a nation, there'd be no whores in our community. There'd be no homosexuals in our community. There'd be no unwanted pregnancies in our community. None of these things would be in our community, man. Because what? We would understand sex is marriage and we would understand the importance. That's what we would understand. But, you know, this is like free for all. Everyone's left to do whatever they want. So everyone just does whatever's right in their own mind. Read on.
And hold him to labor.
And what?
Hold him to labor.
Hold him to labor, man. Let your son do the dishes, man. Let him wash the car. Let your daughter do these things. Let her teach you how to cook, man. I remember growing up, my dad had my sister burning the hair off the chicken, man. You know them ones when you had to burn the hair off the chicken wings. Listen, man. Once upon a time, you had to burn the hair off the chicken wings. All of those things, man. Hold your kids to labor. Let them mop the kitchen. Let them sweep the kitchen. Let them polish. Don't let them just wake up and play PlayStation all day. Let them polish everything, man. Let them clean them skirting boards. Let them cut the grass. Let them clean the door handles. Let them do a little bit of DIY. Let them do certain things, man. Teach them how to fix a puncture on a bike and so forth. Teach them how to put up certain things. So when your child grows up, these things will stick with them and then they'll make their kids do it. Teach them how to cook. And then now when the coronavirus comes around, your daughter knows what to do with a bag of flour, man. She knows with a bag of flour how to make dumplings instead of her just having them long nails, man, for no reason, man. Them long nails with the acrylics and the little dots that they put on there. Them nails where they put them LV symbol on the nails and all that nonsense. Listen, man, teach them how to cook. So when things like this comes around, they can be beneficial to their husbands, man. They can be beneficial to a black man, man. Teach your sons as well, so they can be beneficial also, man. Teach your sons to be strong, man. So a woman knows, I can't live without this man. So a woman knows, I can't do nothing without this man. Instead of your son being like Dwayne Wade. How's Dwayne Wade going to protect anyone during hard times, man? When people's coming kicking down your doors, how's Dwayne Wade going to protect anyone, man? How's a man that wants to be a woman going to protect anyone? How's a man with a bent wrist meant to protect anyone? Listen, them homosexuals and transsexuals is going to realize in that. You see when things, you see once them dark days come, which is darker than the days of now, they're going to realize that homosexuality wasn't the way, man. They're going to realize that a man behaving like a woman ain't the way, man. All these women is going to want a strong black man. They're going to want a strong black man who's rough and who tells them what to do and who gives them orders. They're going to want a man which is in the I.S.U.P.K, man. For now, they don't want a man that's in the I.S.U.P.K because why? Because they got Boris Johnson. They got their pastor. They got the Christian church that allows you to do whatever you like to do, man. They allow you to live this sinful lifestyle. Well, guess what? The time's coming when a black man is going to be your only answer. A black man is only going to be your safe point. A black man is going to only be your checkpoint, man. That's going to be your only checkpoint, a black man. In that day, you're going to wish you had one of these I.S.U.P.K priests, man. And some of you sisters is going to come in that day and saying, you know what, I've changed my mind, man. I want to be with a black man now. Some of you sisters is going to come and say, oh, I want one of you I.S.U.P.K black men. And we're going to say, I'm full. That's what we're going to say. We say, I'm full. I got too much ribs to worry about for now. You know, I'll be like, I know a brother called Cruffy. He might be interested. I'm going to pick up the phone and be like, there's a sister here. I'm going to say, what's your credentials? What can you do? Say, can you cook? She's going to say, no. I'm going to say, can you do this? She's going to say, no. I'm going to say, can you make clothes? She's going to say, no. I'm going to say, oh, you know, I doubt the brother's going to want you. He's got credentials and you got no credentials. I'm going to say, you know, he might not be interested. I'm going to say, try somebody else. Read on.
Lest his lewd behavior be an offense unto thee.
Listen, man. And these kids in school, have lewd behavior, and now you're going to realize how lewd their behavior is in the house, man. You're going to realize how disrespectful these kids' behavior is in the house if you ain't raising them right. Because now you're stuck with them until September now. You're stuck with them till September. If it's that long, it probably won't be that long. But basically until this virus calms down, man. You can drop that. We're going to go on to something else. Give me Isaiah chapter 30 and verse 20. Listen, we got tons of things to go on tonight. I don't think we're going to get through all of it, man. But Lord, allow get through all of it. I don't think we will. But give me Isaiah chapter 30 and verse 20.
Isaiah 30 and 20. And though the Lord give you the bread of adversity
Go ahead.
and the water of affliction,
Go ahead.
yet shall not thy teachers be removed into a corner anymore.
It says, not yet shall not thy teachers be removed into a corner anymore. Once upon a time, we was removed into a corner, man. But where are we now, man? We're out here, man. You're seeing your teachers. You see God's real teachers is in the I.S.U.P.K, and you're seeing us. We're the only ones which is still functioning, man. Everybody else is shut down. Your church ain't opening. These fake Israelites is shut down and so forth. Now you can't attend their schools. You can't attend their buildings. Well, their churches, should I say. Whereas the I.S.U.P.K, we're the only place which is open for business. And this is going to be the only... Listen, once you're going to be standing in the street and every light is going to be off in the street. And the only light which is going to be on is the building of the I.S.U.P.K, man. It's going to be the only one where someone's home, where the lights is on, man. And you're gonna have to come here for a refuge, man. These black men that you laughed about, that read the Bible on the streets, and you laugh at them, you laugh at their outfit. You're gonna be looking for these same black men, man. And there's gonna be no laughing. People are already looking for us now. Like, it's funny now. You see now, people that couldn't give a damn about the Bible, now they're all turning into so-called Bible scholars now, talking about, yeah, because the New World Order is written in the Bible, because this is written in the Bible, because that's written in the Bible. Nobody wanted to hear the Bible, and we've been bringing it out on them streets. Listen, everybody else is scared of coronavirus, man. Meanwhile, in the UPK, we out there getting boot kisses off these devils, man. Off a devil that looks like he's got coronavirus, man. So lucky. We're getting boot kisses off a damn devil that looks like he probably got coronavirus, because we don't give a damn, man. We serve the Lord and we ain't fearing no virus, man. This not only did this devil kiss the boots, he licked the boots, man. You see it? He licked the boots, man. He put his tongue all on the boots, man. I'm thinking, damn, listen, just kissing the boots would be fine, man. If you ain't seen it, that video's up on YouTube. This damn devil went on his knees. We told him, if you're sorry for slavery and you don't want the Lord to give you the coronavirus, you would kiss these boots, man. You would kiss these boots of the slaves that your people's oppressed. It's like, I'm Irish. That's what it's saying. I didn't oppress you, like I'm Irish. Listen, man. All you devils is the same, man. I don't give a damn if you're a devil that lives in Jamaica, man. If you're a devil that lives in, Hawaii, man. If you're a devil that lives in China, man. All of you are the same, man. Your forefathers oppressed my forefathers, and you're still oppressing us today, man. Nothing ain't changed. And he kissed them boots, man. He went down. We said, put your face towards the earth. He put his face towards the earth. We was like, you know what? Kiss them boots, man. Everyone got them boots kissed, man. Boots kissed, man. We all got them boots kissed. Captain Parashek, Officer Karafiak, Officer Magawar, Officer Shamgar, and Trooper Tazapawan, Trooper Kerwan, Trooper Mawasa, Officer Magawar. And listen, man, we all got them boots kissed, man, and it's only right. This is just the beginning, man. We expect all of them to kiss our boots. Meanwhile, the world's panicking about coronavirus. We getting our boots kissed, man. And then black people ask us, why are you getting your boots kissed? That's too far. That's too far. Listen, man. You know what is too far? Shooting Mark Duggan was too far, man. Shooting Jermaine Baker was too far. Locking black people up is too far. Taking black people on slave ships is too far, man. That's what's too far. Getting our boots kissed is just the beginning. Read on.
And anymore, but thine eyes shall see their teachers.
And now, you finally seen your teachers, man. Now, the coronavirus is showing you who your teachers are. The coronavirus is showing you who the children of God is, man. The coronavirus is showing you who are God's prophets on the face of this earth. That's what this is showing you, man. Your pastor ain't one of God's teachers, man. Your pastor who you thought was, God's spokesman. Your pastor who you thought was God himself. You're finally realizing that your pastor ain't God, man. For time's sake, drop that. Give me John chapter 10 and verse 7. So lucky enough to fly through half this. John chapter 10 and verse 7. Also, Salakia, if I could, everybody knows Passover's been postponed, right? So Passover is postponed until Commanding General Yohanna says it is. So don't be trying to keep no secret Passover in your house. And also, the Feast of Unleavened Bread is postponed also. So don't be doing the Feast of Unleavened Bread, taking the leaven out of your house. That doesn't apply until we do the Passover, until Commanding General Yohanna says it is. So don't be trying to have your little lamb and your little bread in your house, talking about this is the Lord's Passover, talking about this bread a break for you, talking about this wine a drink in remembrance. Listen, don't be doing none of that. Passover ain't until Commanding General Yohanna say so. So proceed as normal until we announce when the Passover is, man. And also, the scriptures say what? The scriptures say what in the book of Numbers? If a man's in a far journey or unclean, he does the Passover on a later date. And so now we have to do the Passover on a later date. Once they let us get that venue, man. That's when we're going to do the Passover. So just stay tuned. That's when we're going to do the Passover. Any queries, just give the school a number. Read that for me. Chapter 10 and verse 7.
Then said Yahushua unto them again, Verily, verily, I say unto you, I am the door of the sheep.
Listen, Christ is the way for the sheep, man. Meaning what? These sheep have to come through him. Who's the sheep? The Israelites. They have to come through Christ, man. That's the only way. The mosque ain't the way. Church ain't the way. If mosque was the way, Mecca would still be open right now, man. If mosque was the way, Mecca would be open for business right now. But Mecca ain't open for business, man. Your church ain't the way because your church ain't open for business. Imagine now, you need God more than ever, and the church is shut, man. You need God more than ever, and the mosque is shut, man, because of the fear of the spreading of coronavirus, which lets you know your pastor ain't what he told you he is, man. Your imam ain't what he told you he is. Read on.
All that ever came before me are thieves and robbers.
All that what?
Ever came before me were thieves and robbers.
And listen, man, the church pastor is a thief and a robber, man. He's a thief and a robber, man. Your imam, he's a thief and a robber, man. They're trying to come up some other way without Christ. They're trying to skip Christ and think that they deserve these flattering titles, that they deserve this position, that they deserve all this glory. That's what they're trying to do, man. They've come up some other way. They don't follow Christ, man. They're leaning on their own understanding, and they want you to lean on their understanding. Read on.
But the sheep did not hear them.
But what?
But the sheep did not hear them.
And the sheep did not hear them, because if you know about shepherds, a shepherd knows his sheep, and his sheep know him. His sheep know his voice, man. His sheep only respond to the shepherd, and this is why what? We ain't Muslims in the UPK because we know our shepherd, man. We ain't no Christians because what? We know our shepherd. We ain't no 7-day Adventists because what? We know our shepherd. The question is, if you're not in the I.S.U.P.K, do you know your shepherd? I don't think you do, man. You're following a man that's going to lead you to death, man. You're following a man that's going to lead you to the coronavirus, man. You're following a man that's going to lead you to destruction. Go ahead.
I am the door.
I am the what?
The door.
And listen, what do you do with a door? You have to go through it, right? If you don't go through that door, but you try to go through the window, you're a thief, man. You ain't gone through the right way. Your pastor's a thief, man. He ain't come through the right way, man. Your imam's a thief, man. He ain't come up the right way. Go ahead.
I am the door. By me, any man shall enter in. He shall be saved.
By what?
By me, if any man enter, he shall be saved.
By me, if any man shall enter, he shall be saved, man. And what? Christians will pull this and say, see, I'm saved. Listen, man, if you Christians are saved, why are you running around with a mask on your face, man? Which shows you ain't saved. If you was saved, you wouldn't be fearing this coronavirus because you'd be like, well, I'm safe. And saved from what exactly? I need to know what Christians is saved from. What are you saved from, man? You ain't saved from anything, man. That's the big misconception about Christians saying, "Oh, I've been saved, I've been saved." Some Christian hit me up today saying, "Oh, have you been saved?" I said, "Saved from what?" She's saying, "Oh, because when you get baptized, you get saved." She dunked herself in water, and guess what? She's one of the biggest whores, man. She dunked herself in water, and she's one of the biggest whores on the face of the earth, man. Most of these Christians is the biggest whores on the face of the earth. Go ahead.
I am the door. By me, a man shall enter, and he shall be saved.
I'm meaning what? You have to serve Christ, man. That you enter, you have to get in the I.S.U.P.K and serve Christ, man. That's how you do that. Go ahead.
And go in and out and find pasture.
And go in and out and find pasture, man. Find comfort and everything, man. Go ahead.
The thief cometh not, but for to steal.
The thief cometh what?
But for to steal.
Hold on, your pastor does what?
Steal.
Listen, man. Your pastor steals, man. Your pastor takes all your money, man. Because your pastor comes to steal. Go ahead.
And to kill.
And to what?
And to kill.
Your pastor comes to steal. Your pastor comes to molest those kids, rape those kids. He comes to steal and to kill, man, and destroy. He destroys relationships, man. A man could be with his woman for years, and the church says, "Oh, you have to leave your man." Says, "Oh, leave him and get a man in the church." Listen, me and a brother was talking about it the other day, man. He said, "Yo, the church wanted to take my woman, man." And that's exactly what these pastors try to do. The pastor tries to take your woman, gets her to leave you. Go ahead.
And to destroy. I am come that they might have life.
Yahushua said, "I have come that they might have life." And that's what we do in the UPK, man. Teach you to serve Christ, man, so you can have life. We're tired of seeing black people dying. We don't want to see you die. We want to see you locked up in jail. We are doing what Christ was doing, man. We are doing the office of what Christ was doing, man. Christ passed this office down, man. When Christ went away, he put men in charge and said, "This man's next up, follow him, follow him, follow him," all the way down to Commanding General Yohanna, man. That's who you're supposed to be following. If you're following anybody else right now other than Commanding General Yohanna, guess what? You're entering some other way, man. You ain't entering in at the gate, man. You're going up some other way, man. And I'm going to show you out of the Bible how other men was in charge. After that, go ahead, read on.
And that they might have it in abundantly.
And listen, man, that's what us black men need. We need life in abundance, man. That's what black men need, man. We may have life abundantly. It's about time we get life abundantly. And now you're seeing what the world's coming to an end. Now, what do I mean when I say the world's coming to an end? Someone online break down what I just said. I said the world's coming to an end. What do I mean? What do I mean when I say the world's coming to an end? Someone answer that for me. I'm gonna give you 2 minutes. What does it mean that the world's coming to an end? Yeah, see if anyone's got it on the Facebook. Anyone want to give it a shot? What do I mean when I say the world's coming to an end? Adolphus Less, almost, quite. Madban Yamyan, Khan, near enough, same thing. But whose world's, well, basically, I almost gave it to you. I almost gave it to you. What is coming to an end? What world is coming to an end? Is because people think the end of the world is the whole earth breaking up. Adolphus, let's give him a hand. He got it correct. Most High in Christ. That's exactly what it means. It means Esau's reign and rulership is coming to an end. That's what the end of the world means. Esau's reign. Mad Banyamin got it correct as well. Give him a hand. That's what it means. Esau's reign and world is coming to an end, man. So black people being upset and scared, which means what? That means you love Esau's world, man. That means you don't want this white man's world, this oppressor's world to come to an end. You're happy here if you ain't happy with what you're seeing unfold, seeing this man afraid of everything. Read on.
I am the good shepherd.
I am the what?
The good shepherd.
Christ said he's the good shepherd, man. What does a shepherd do? A shepherd leads the sheep. Christ is the good shepherd, and your pastor is the bad shepherd, man. Your imam is the bad shepherd. They are shepherds that couldn't care less about you, that couldn't give a toss about you. Christ said he's the good shepherd, man. Go ahead. Meaning this shepherd is so good that he gave his life for you, man. That's how good this shepherd is. Would your pastor give his life for you? Nah, man. Your pastor ain't giving up a damn thing for you. You go to jail and your pastor don't even write to you or visit you, man. He don't even put money on your books because your pastor ain't a good shepherd. Go ahead.
The good shepherd giveth his life for the sheep.
Hold on, the what?
Good shepherd giveth his life for the
The
sheep.
good shepherd giveth his life for the sheep. And that's what we willing to do in the I.S.U.P.K, man. We willing to give our life for the sheep, man. I mean, why you think we go camp for what? You think we just go there? You think we just go there for no reason? Listen, man. When we go to camp, we know our lives on the line. You hear some of the things we be saying. We be in big Brixton, getting these devils to kiss our boots, man. Getting them to kiss our boots, man. And other devils is watching in disgust. The other day, they looked at us in disgust, thinking, hey, who are these niggas to get their boots kissed by anyone? And we was out there bold as a lion, man. We go out there and we get our boots kissed to show what? To show black people that this man is beneath us, man. To show black people that we don't give a damn about this man. We don't worship this man. Whereas a black woman did what? Tried to save that man and pick him up off the ground, man, and told him not to kiss our boots. You know why? Because she's been raised to love her oppressor, man. She's been raised to love her oppressor and treat her oppressor like his God himself. And she couldn't stand to see that we treated the man that she worships like garbage, man. Really, we bring Esau down to their right place. When we have them kissing our boots, we bring them down to their right place where they're supposed to be. Go ahead.
God, the good shepherd giveth life to the good shepherd giveth life to the sheep.
Go ahead.
But he that is a hireling.
He that is a what?
An hireling.
He that is a what?
The hireling.
A hireling, man. Your pastor's a hireling, man. Your imam's a hireling. Meaning what? They get paid to do the job. Same like you see your job. Because it's not your business. You're just there. If the building burns down, you don't give a damn because you're just a hireling. But the man who actually owns that building, he would care if it burns down because he loves it, right? It's his building. Same like Christ was the good shepherd. Your pastor is just a hireling. He's getting money to do the job. He don't care about you. He gets money to talk all this nonsense to you. So he don't care about your well-being. He don't care about your life. He don't care whether you live or die. Go ahead.
And not the shepherd.
And what?
Not the shepherd.
Listen, man. Your pastor is a hireling and not the shepherd, man. That's where you've gone wrong, thinking that your pastor is the shepherd. He ain't the shepherd. Go ahead.
Whose own sheep are not.
Whose own sheep are not. He's a hireling and the sheep ain't his. Your pastor knows that you're not his sheep, man. He knows. That's why he treats you the way he treats you. Go ahead.
Seeth the wolf coming.
Seeth the wolf coming. He does what?
Leaveth the sheep.
He sees the wolf coming and leaves the sheep. Your pastor saw coronavirus coming and left the sheep, man. Closed down the church. The church is closed right now. Your pastor's nowhere to be seen. Your pastor don't want to speak to you. He don't want to deal with you because you're a hireling to him. You just money to him. He don't care about the sheep. Listen, your pastor's meant to be doing what right now? Reassuring the congregation, man. He's meant to be reassuring you. Don't worry. This is gonna happen. This is all this is prophecy. The Lord's set up plagues before. Your pastor's meant to be showing you these things. But guess what? He's nowhere to be seen, man.
That's right.
You know why? Because he sees the wolves coming and disappears, man. Once hard time comes, and this is the thing, man. Us black people need to see more hard times come. You know why? Because the more hard times we see coming, it will be forced to push us into the I.S.U.P.K, man.
Right.
It will be forced to push us into the truth. It will be forced to make us serve God once we go through these hardships. As long as things is going good, like the thing is this, if you're not going through adversity, you don't know a man unless you've seen him go through adversity.
Right.
Just look at it. Everyone will be your friend. If you're rich and on top, everyone will be your friend. But you know your friends when you go through hard times, right? Now you should know your pastor's not a man of God. Now that you're going through hard times. Now that you can't even find toilet paper, you should know your pastor's not a man of God. Now that what? You can't get the answers that you need. Now that you can't get the answers that you need, it should let you know what? That your pastor's not a man of God. It should let you know these things, man. It should let you know that what? Your pastor is a hireling, and when he sees the wolf coming, he flees, man. Any little thing that comes, your pastor runs for his life, man. Your pastor don't care about you. He don't care about your life. Your pastor ain't a good shepherd, man. Your pastor is a terrible shepherd, man.
That's right.
Your pastor is the worstest shepherd on the face of this earth. The Christian church is the worstest thing that's happened to black people on the face of this earth. And you trusting in your pastor, this coronavirus is letting you know why you shouldn't trust in your pastor, man. This coronavirus is letting you know why you should boycott the church. You see how people say, oh, boycott Gucci. Black people need to boycott the church, man. We need to boycott the mosque. That's those places that we need to boycott. Before I go on a tangent, read on. Before I go on and listen, I get a little carried away sometimes. Okay, go ahead.
And fleeth, and the wolf catches them.
And what?
The wolf catches
Listen,
them.
man, you pass the fleas, man. You pass the tells these people, I'll be with you, I'll be with you, I'll be with you. And then it flees, man. And then some destruction takes hold of them. Go ahead.
And scattereth the sheep.
And what?
Scattereth the sheep.
And scattereth the sheep, man. Go ahead.
The hireling fleeth.
The what?
The hireling.
The hireling fleeth. Your pastor's this hireling which flees, man. Meaning what? Your pastor's in his nice cozy house with the heating on, with his feet up. He done his shopping 6 months ago. He done his shopping 6 months ago, man. He left you outside, out of the loop, man. And you know what a good shepherd does? A good shepherd takes care of the sheep, man. And in the UPK, you have good shepherds, man. And this is why we told you to do what? Stock up on food, man. We said stock up on food, man. Commander General Yohanna said stock up on food and water and fuel and whatnot. And he's a prophet of God. You better listen to what he's saying, man. You better listen to what these priests and prophets of God saying, man. You didn't want to listen to us before. Listen, our words mean more than it did before, man. Because now you're actually seeing what we're saying. Before you was like, you know, it's a little sketchy. What they're saying, now you're seeing it. But we've been talking about this for years. Now you're finally seeing it, man. Now you finally living what was going on in Egypt. Now you finally living them plagues which was going on in Egypt, man. Read on.
Because he is an hireling and careth not for the sheep.
He don't care for the sheep, man. A man that's hired to do the job don't care for the sheep. He don't give a damn about the sheep. And black man, you're the sheep he don't give a damn about. But guess what? You have a righteous shepherd, man. You have righteous shepherds who the Lord set up, man, in the I.S.U.P.K. Go ahead.
I am the good sheep. I am the good shepherd.
Christ is telling you he's the good shepherd. And the men that follow him, Christ put those in charge, man. Christ put them man in charge after him, man. Said, yo, follow these men. It's mad how people just think, you know what? I'm going to skip the men Christ put in charge and go straight to Christ. It don't work like that, man. It don't work like that, man. People think they're just going to skip everybody else and just go straight to Christ. Listen, do you know that with Moses, not anyone could speak to Moses? Not anyone seen Moses. Moses had the elders under him, man, who Moses would deal directly to. And then he would have the captains of thousands, of 50s, of 10,000s. And then they would be in charge of people who they would go relay the message to. You think you just being any civilian could go speak to Moses? Listen, man, you would have never seen Moses in your life, man. You would have just heard about him. You would have just heard about him, man. Same like what? Without TV, you wouldn't see the generals, man. Without YouTube, you wouldn't see the generals, man. You think what? You can just go speak to Christ? Listen, man, it ain't working like that. Christ has put men in charge who's saying to you what he would say to you, man. So every time you see these men, it's like you're seeing Christ, man. Every time the men seen the elders in the Old Testament, it was like they were seeing Moses, man. Because Moses relayed the message. Every time them men got the message from Moses. Listen, the message that, and that's why the Bible says, send the word of the Lord to them. Meaning what? The word of the Lord is do this. The Lord didn't actually come down and speak to them. The Lord spoke to his angels, man. And then the angels would what? Pass it down to them men. Them men would have visions and so forth. Then they would relay it down to you, man. They'll get scribes to write it and whatnot. And then you have the records today. The Lord ain't speaking to you directly. Listen, the Lord said what? He only spoke with Moses face to face. What makes you think he's speaking with you face to face, man? The Lord said he speaks to his prophets in a vision, man. In a dream or vision or dark speeches. What makes you think the Lord's speaking to you directly, man? The Lord ain't speaking to you directly, man. The Lord ain't speaking to some crack addict directly, man. The Lord sends the men in the I.S.U.P.K. to speak to you. You see, when we speaking to you, that's the Lord speaking to you, man. You better take heed to what the Lord's saying. Anytime you see anyone in the I.S.U.P.K. speaking, that's the words of the Lord, man. Go ahead.
I am the good shepherd. I know my sheep.
Oh, what?
I know my sheep.
Christ said he knows his sheep, man. Christ knows his sheep, man. He knows the men that follow him. He knows the men that serve him. He knows his sheep. And what? How does he know his sheep? Because his sheep love him and keep his commandments, man. It doesn't mean what? You're just someone that says Jesus, Jesus, Jesus for the whole day. That's what happens in church, man. In church, they just say Jesus, Jesus, Jesus for the whole day, man. And they do no actions. The actions is is that of somebody's in the world. Because Christians really, they're in the world, man. They're in the world and they just, put a nice spin on it. I believe in God. I'm this, I'm that. And really, they ain't nothing but a lie, man. Go ahead.
And I'm known of mine,
Go ahead.
as the Father knoweth me, even so know I the Father, and I lay down my life for the sheep. And
Listen,
of the
man.
sheep,
Christ said he laid down his life for the sheep, man. Christ laid down his life for the sheep. Christ died for blacks and Hispanics. He didn't run away. He didn't run away when the wolf came. He didn't run away like your pastor. He didn't run away like a hireling. Christ stood firm, man, and died for black and Hispanics. Go ahead.
and other sheep I have, which are not of this fold.
Oh, basically, this right here is talking about the northern kingdom and the southern kingdom. The other sheep that he had that was not of this fold was the northern kingdom, because the kingdom was split in 1 Kings, the 17th chapter. Don't ever let anyone pull this precept and tell you that this is talking about other nations. This ain't talking about other nations, man. That's why the Bible says the sheep, there shall be one stick, because there was two sticks, the northern kingdom and the southern kingdom. So that's what this is talking about when it says, I have sheep that are not of this fold, because the two kingdoms will split and Christ is going to bring those two kingdoms together. And this is what we're doing right now in the UPK, bringing them two kingdoms together, man, northern kingdom and southern kingdom, because the kingdom split. That's what it says. I have sheep not of this fold. Read on.
Them also I must bring.
Them also I must bring, but that's it on that. So that's who the other sheep is. The other sheep ain't talking about the heathens, ain't talking about the Gentiles. They ain't sheeps of Christ, man. They ain't followers of Christ, man. They can't serve Christ, man. Well, they will serve him in the kingdom, because they're gonna have to do whatever he wants them to do. Whatever he says has to go, or they're dying. But as in keep law, statutes, and commandments, and Christ being their leader. Nah, man, that's just for us, man. Christ being their king, that's just for us, man. Christ dying, that's just for us, man. They ain't for the whole world. People will lie to you and tell you is. Give me 1 Peter chapter 5 and verse 1. So in the book of what? 1 Peter chapter 5 and verse 1.
1 Peter 5 and 1. The elders which are among you I exhort.
Exhort means like what? To encourage, right? Is encourages them, strongly encourages them. That's what exhort means. Go ahead.
Who am also an elder.
And Paul was saying, I'm also an elder. But now, what Paul would be saying is he's like a general and so forth. In the UPK, we don't use them terms, elders. That's Christianity, like bishop. We stay far away from Christianity as possible. So we ain't gonna use the term elder. And what's some next ones? Bishop, and what is it? Deacon and deacon. We use the raw term for them. Paul's basically saying, yo, listen, I'm a general. Go ahead.
And the witness of the suffering of
like listen, don't ever call a man an elder in the I.S.U.P.K. Don't ever say elder. Because if you call a man elder, 9 times out of 10, he ain't gonna know who you're talking to. We don't use them terms in here. Elder. Just leave that to the Christian church and the fake Israelite groups. Go ahead. In here, just sir will do. Sir will do. We will take that. Sir will do. But elder, no, that won't do. Salakia, go ahead.
And also a partaker of the glory that shall be revealed.
And Paul said, you know what? I'm a general, and I'm also going to be a partaker of the glory that shall be revealed. Meaning what? When we reign in this kingdom, man. When black men receive their crowns, when black men's rule in the face of the earth, when black men's on top of the world, man. That's the glory, man. The kingdom of heaven. That's our glory. Go ahead.
Feed the flock of God.
Do what?
Feed the flock of God.
It said, feed the flock of God. Now, your pastor ain't feeding the flock of God. Your pastor hates the flock of God, man. It says, feed the flock of God. Now, what do you feed them with? This truth, man. You feed them with this truth, man. You teach them these scriptures. You teach them how to change their life, how to better their life. That's how you feed the flock of God, man. And if you're in a position where you can provide other things for them, you help them, man. You provide things for them, man. You give the flock of God understanding and wisdom and whatnot. Take care of that flock, man. And he said, this is why he said, I'm also an elder, meaning he's also a senior man. Because what? A senior man does what? Rules over cities, rules over states. So senior men in the UPK, they do what? Feed the flock of God. Because they're over all the cities. And guess what? If something does go wrong, guess what? They have to answer to General Muhammad, man. And nobody wants to do that. So we make sure everything's correct, man. We make sure everything's correct in the city and whatnot. Go ahead.
Taking the oversight thereof.
And listen, man, take charge, man. That's what that's talking about. The men in here do take charge. The men in here do what? Sometimes they check you, but it's good, man. They're checking you in the spirit of love, man. No one in here is just checking you because they dislike you, because they hate you. Listen, man, they're checking you because they love you, man, and they know you can do better, and they don't want you to do wrong, and they don't want the Lord to remove you out of the truth, man. So they check you so you can do better, man. Check-ins make you a better person, but because we grew up with our mom, we never ever got in trouble because our mom knew we was the golden child, and that takes us right back to school. You get kicked out of school, there's no punishment because your mom says, the school's just bullying him. So guess what happens? You think you can come in here and you think you can pull that same card. Oh, they're just bullying me. Nah, man, you're getting checked because you done something stupid. You done something that you wasn't supposed to do. That's why you get checked. You ain't just gonna get checked for no reason, man. Every check-in, there's something you've done wrong, man, and just take the check-in and move on. Listen, man, I've been checked many times, man. I've been checked many times. I've learned to, you take the check-in and just move on. Now, weak men do what? Get checked and leave the truth, man. Weak men get checked and cry about it all day and leave the truth and talk about, I don't want to be there no more. I ain't letting nobody talk to me like that. And then guess what happens? And women do it too. Women do what? Leave the truth. And then they go on Facebook and then they start talking nonsense about the school all day on Facebook, all because what? They couldn't take a check-in, or because they couldn't take one check-in. Now they're on Facebook talking nonsense about the school. Read on.
Good. Taking the oversight thereof, not by constraint, but willingly.
But willingly. And listen, man, you have to do the work of the Lord willingly. You have to be willing to do the work of the Lord, man. Go ahead.
But willingly, not for filthy lucre.
Not for what?
Filthy lucre.
And listen, man, your pastor does this work for filthy lucre, even though it's not work. He does it for gain, man. Your pastor does it for gain, man. He does it for money and those kind of things. That's what your pastor does. Read on.
But of a ready mind.
But of a ready mind, man. Go ahead.
Neither as being lords over God's heritage.
Go ahead.
But being ensample to the flock.
And you listen, man. In here, the man in here is a good example to the flock. How is your pastor a good example, man? He's molesting everybody's kids. He's robbing from everybody. He's breaking all of God's laws. How is your pastor a good example to the flock? Your pastor ain't a good example, man. You only find good. Listen, I'm sorry I keep saying it. You only find good examples in the I.S.U.P.K, man. Men that actually live what they tell you to do. Men that will never give you an order that they wouldn't do themselves. Men that actually love you and care about you. Men that actually care about your life. Men that actually want to see you do good. You only find those men in the I.S.U.P.K. Go ahead.
And when the chief shepherd shall appear, ye shall receive a crown of glory.
Hold on, and when the what?
Chief shepherd shall appear.
Who's the chief shepherd? Christ, man. What we doing right now is we taking care of the flock of God, like it said in the verse up above, man. And when the chief shepherd, which is Yahweh shall appear, meaning the top shepherd, man, the shepherd of shepherds, man, the lion of lion, the king of kings, man. When the chief shepherd, the top one shall appear, go ahead. Meaning the shepherd's under him, but there's a chief shepherd. There's a shepherd which is better than all these other shepherds. There's a shepherd which is above all these other shepherds, which is Yahweh Shai, man. When he shall appear, go ahead.
Ye shall receive a crown of glory.
Ye shall what?
Receive a crown of glory.
And the men that stood so stiffly for this word and serve God is going to receive a crown of glory, man. The men that standing strong in these trying times is going to receive a crown of glory, man. Listen, what I'm saying to you right now, it's not me making it up. It's biblical, man. Reading out the Bible, it's biblical. You can drop that. Give me Jeremiah chapter 23 and verse 1. Damn, you can hear that shop noise all the way from here. You hear it? That's what I'm saying. He's making some money, you know. You know how much times I've heard that noise?
In and out, no, still like,
Listen, he's making some. Ooh, he's making some money. That yeah, any all that toilet paper. So he's making some money in there. Ooh. Oh yeah, another thing. If you was looking for like water and toilet paper and so forth, and it's sold out in all the big stores, go to these smaller shops like Nisa and these whatnot. They have them. But what I've realized is they put the price up. You notice they put the price up. They put the price. Yeah. You what? But they put the price up. You what? Nah, no, ain't more so in Christ. But yeah, they put the price up. But if you really need it and it's sold in the supermarkets, just go buy it. I believe they put the price up by at least an extra £1.50 and whatnot. So yeah, if you can, just buy it and yeah. But now all these heathens, when you see the things they're buying things that ain't even long lasting, like they're buying things which is going off next week. Buying things which is going off next week. And black men, listen, we used to surviving on just nothing. Us black men, we used to eating, what is it, corned beef? We used to eating corn, what is it called, bully beef? We so used to eating corned beef and hard-o bread that us black men can survive during hard times, man. Our oppressor's never been through this, so he can't survive. So that's why he panics, buys every chocolate bar in the shop, buys every bottle of water in the shop, because he don't know what it's like to go hungry, man. Black men, we've been going hungry for so long that now we're making memes and jokes about it while they're panicking, because they've never gone through something like this, man. They're ready to drop dead, man. They're ready to drop dead. They're that afraid. Meanwhile, black people, we just want the time off work, man. We just want time off work to spend time and chill and go out and put our feet up. That's what black men want. Go ahead.
Jeremiah 23:1. Woe unto the pastors that scatter the sheep.
Hold on, what did the Bible say?
Woe unto the pastors that scatter the sheep of my pasture.
Your pastor scatters God's sheep, man. Your pastor scatters God's sheep, man. Your pastor don't lead black people in the right direction. He leads them in the wrong direction, man. Right. He leads them all into the wrong direction. Anyone leading you into the Christian church is not a man of God, man. Any man leading you into the Muslim mosque is not a man of God. Any man leading you into a fake Israelite group is not a man of God, man. This is the only place where you need to be if you want to serve God. Go ahead.
Saith the Lord, therefore, thus saith the Lord God of Israel, against the pastors that feed my flock, ye have scattered my flock.
Look, man, they scatter God's flock. The Lord's got a few things in store for these false prophets, man. And this is why your pastor's so afraid. You know why? Because he knows he's a false prophet. He knows this plague comes from God. And he knows, you know what? God's coming to get him one day, man. He knows God's going to come and deal with him one day for how he's scattered God's flock, man. He knows that recompense is coming one day, man. He knows that payback's coming back one day. So he's afraid, hiding in his house, man. Go ahead.
And driven them away, and have not visited
Hold
them.
on, and have what?
Driven them away.
Listen, man. You're going to church trying to find God in these trying times, and your pastor's done what?
Driven them away.
Listen, man, your pastor's driven you away, man. Your pastors did what? Closed this church. I thought church was the house of God. It's the house of God, and you're going there to ask about what's going on in this time, and the pastors did what?
Driven them away.
Listen, man, your pastor's driven you away, man. Your pastor's told you church is shut. Your pastor don't pick up the phone, man. Your pastor tells you, don't worry, I'll speak to you once this whole coronavirus issue's gone. Your pastor's driven you away, man. Go ahead, read on.
And I've not visited them.
And I've what?
Not visited them.
And listen, man, some of you got that coronavirus and your pastor ain't visited you, man. Because your pastor don't want to catch it. Your pastor stayed away from you, ain't spoke to you. He don't even give you a phone call. Listen, man, your pastor ain't visited you. Your pastor hasn't even told you stock up on food. Your pastor ain't told you get the essentials that you need. Your pastor ain't told you get all these things. Your pastor hasn't told you none of these things, man. You know why? Your pastor is a horrible man. That's right. Your pastor is a nasty, nasty man. That's right. Your pastor is a horrible man whose mouth needs to be stopped, like it says in the Bible. Your pastor is a man who needs to what? Close down his church and reimburse everybody all their money. Same like this airline needs to reimburse me back all my money, so luck yeah. Same like this airline needs to reimburse me back my money. Your pastor needs to reimburse his whole congregation back their money. Because he's lied to them and he's robbed you blindly, man. And now he's driven you away, and now he ain't picking up the phone to you, man. In the times when what? He's meant to be there for you. Now's the time when what? When people need God more than ever. The man who you thought was of God don't want to pick up the phone. The man who you thought was of God closes down the place where he claims was the house of God. How does that make sense? Read on.
I have not visited them. Behold, I will visit upon you the evil of your doings.
Hold on, the Lord will what?
Visit upon you the evil of your doings.
The Lord's going to visit these pastors, man, for the evil of their doings. The Lord's going to visit them for the evil of their doings, man. You see how they ill-treat black people and rob them and steal from them and lie to them? The Lord's going to visit that pastor, man. That pastor's going to get a visitation from the Lord, man. You think you're hiding in your house. Listen, you think hiding in your house is going to stop the Lord from getting you. Listen, man. You can stay in your house all your life, man. Don't you know the Lord can send cancer through the wars to come and get you, man? Don't you know an angel can come through the wars and come and smite you with some plague, man? There's some people that's been in their house and still got coronavirus, man. Idris Elba in the news saying, guys, I've got coronavirus. Guys, I've got coronavirus. 1 minute he was talking about Bossy, man, a Bossy. Listen, remember he was talking about, what does the song go? Yeah, he's saying he's Bossy. Listen, man, he's got coronavirus now, man. Idris Elba needs to make a next song about having coronavirus, man. Idris Elba. What movies does he act in? Is it Luther? I mean, but him with his dead son talking about a remix thing. To be fair, he probably was the best on that song, so lucky. He probably wasn't it, was he? I'll give him that. He probably was the best on that song. He probably was the best. No, Wiley. After Wiley, I say probably he just was the best on that song. But now he ain't boasting no more. He's in his house, what? With coronavirus. One thing you can say is at least this woman stood by his side. You see her? Listen, man, black man, you too close to his side. Listen, black man, you get coronavirus. Your woman is going to leave him. Listen, your woman leaves you and you ain't even got coronavirus. Imagine if you did have coronavirus, is she going to stay by your side? Your woman leaves you and you ain't got no health issues. Imagine if you did have health issues. Read on.
And I will gather the remnant of my flock out of all the countries.
And listen, man, the time's coming when the Lord's going to gather us out of all the countries where we've been sold, man. Out of all these countries, because what? The Bible says Israel shall be scattered abroad. All throughout the Bible, when it talks about us being scattered, when Christ talks about go to all nations, that's the all nations it's talking about. All nations in where the Israelites is scattered, man. Talk about your Brazilians, your Guatemalans, your Panamanians, your Trinidadians, and so forth. That's what he's talking about, man. He ain't talking about your Nigerians and your Ghanaians and your Egyptians and your Romanians and your Polish. He ain't talking about that, man. For time's sake, drop that. Give me John chapter 21 and verse 15. Now, Paul said what? Those men that take care of the flock until the chief shepherd comes, they're going to receive a crown, man. They're going to receive a reward when the chief shepherd comes, man, which is Yahushua, like you said, is the good shepherd in the book of John. Them men are going to receive it and a reward. Read on. And now Christ knew that what? The time was coming when he ain't going to be here no more. So what did he have to do? Set men up. Set men up in charge, man. Tell next men take charge, you're next up. Same thing happens, man. What happens? One day a brother will get a city and it'll be your job to raise that city up, man. Go ahead.
So when they died, Yahushua said unto Simon Peter, Simon, son of Jonas, lovest thou me more than these?
Listen, man, Christ, do you love me more than these? Christ is asking, man. Christ is saying, yo, you down with me? You down with me? There's a reason why Christ is asking him this, man. Because Christ knew one time Peter's going to be the next man to be in charge. And what? You think people could skip Peter and go straight to Christ? Nah, man, Christ wasn't there. You had to go to Peter, man. You wanted to know anything, Peter was the next man in charge. Right. That's who you had to go to, man. You Christians and you women think what? You can just skip the men of God and talk about you're married to Jesus. No, man, you're not, man. You women talking about, oh, I'm married to Jesus, I'm married to Jesus. Listen, man, the closest you're going to get to Jesus is through us, man, in the I.S.U.P.K. So lucky, man. The closest you're going to get to Christ is through us, man, in the I.S.U.P.K., man. You don't speak to Christ direct. He don't want to speak to you. You need to go to who he set in charge. And who's in charge right now? Commanding General Yohanna, man. At this time that we're reading right now, Peter was in charge. Go ahead, read on. Well, Christ was in charge until he left Peter with the keys. Go ahead.
He saith unto him, Yea, Lord, thou knowest that I love thee.
So Peter said, of course, man, you know I'm down, man. You know I'm on it. You know I'm down. Go ahead.
He saith unto him, Feed my lambs.
He said what?
Feed my lambs.
He said what?
Feed my lambs.
Christ is saying, yo, you love me. Peter's like, yeah. This next thing Christ said after that, Christ said, yo, feed my lambs. Meaning what? Take care of the people, man. Take care of. You see what I builded? You see what I built? Take care of it, man. If you love me, you will take care of it. And guess what? That's how you know Commanding General Yohanna loves Christ. Why? Because he takes care of the lambs, man.
That's right.
He takes care of the flock, man. He takes care of the children of Israel, man. That's how you know he loves Christ. How do you know your pastor doesn't love Christ? Because he don't take care of the children of Israel, man. He don't take care of the flock. He don't take care of the people. That's how you know your pastor don't love Christ. And this is why Christ asked Peter, do you love me? Feed my lambs. And how do you know that Peter loved Christ? Because he done exactly what Christ did and took care of the people, man. Read on.
He saith to him again the second time, Simon, son of Jonah, lovest thou me? He saith unto him, Lord, thou knowest that I
asked him again, man. Go ahead.
He saith unto him, Feed my sheep.
Hold on. He said what?
Feed my sheep.
He said, if you love me, feed my sheep, man. That's what he said. If you love me, feed my sheep. What people in the world like to ask you is, if you love me, you would give me $20. That's what they like to say. Like your woman would say, if you love me, you would take me back. That's what your woman says. Your woman would cheat on you and say, if you love me, you would take me back. Listen, man, Christ said, if you love me, feed my sheep. Christ said, that's true love, man. That's how you show you love Yahushua, by taking care of what he took care of, man. By doing what he done, by loving what he loved, and he loved the sheep, man. Now, you can't claim you love Christ and you don't love the sheep, man. That makes your argument null and void. Read on.
He said unto him the third time, Son of Jonah.
He asked him a third time, man, which means Christ is saying, yo, if you love me, this is what you have to do, man. Go ahead.
Lovest thou me? Peter was grieved because he said unto him the third time, Lovest thou me? And he said unto him, Lord, thou knowest all things.
Peter saying, yo, Lord, you know all things. There's a reason you asked me this 3 times. You know all things. You know that I love you. Go ahead.
Yahushua said unto him, Feed my sheep.
He said what?
Feed my
Listen,
sheep.
man, he said it that much times, meaning what? That's how important this is, man.
Right.
That's how important it is. And your pastor thinks this is a joke, man. Your pastor thinks this is a joke. Mistreating everybody, man. Robbing everybody. This office ain't no joke, man. This office ain't no game, man. This office ain't no damn game. Read on.
God, verily I say unto thee, when thou wast young.
That's it. That give me, for time's sake, give me Matthew chapter 16 and verse 17. He said, take care of the sheep, man. He said, love them, take care of it. Right. He said, if you love me, take care of them. And Peter did love the sheep, man. Because I don't know if you've ever read the Bible, but yo, once Christ left the scene, Peter grew in the spirit, man. Peter grew and grew and grew. Peter grew and grew and grew, man. Peter became bold and everything, man. Peter basically turned into a G, man. Peter, you see, when Christ was there, Christ, taught him everything. Then after Christ left the scene, Peter what? Remembered what Christ taught him. Said, you know what? Yahushua taught me to do it like this. He taught me to do it like this. He taught me to do it like this. So everything that he was taught, he did what? He applied it. And that's what you have to do in here. The things that you learn from the men greater than yourself, you have to apply that to your life. That's what you have to do, man. Apply it to your life. I mean, what is the point being here if you ain't going to apply nothing to your life? If you're not going to apply what you've been taught to your life, there's a Christian church down the road. Oh, I forgot it's shut because of the coronavirus. You can't even go there. There's a Muslim mosque. There's a place in Mecca. Oh, forgot you can't go there because they're canceling all the flights, and it's shut anyway, so you can't even go to Mecca. But listen, man, apply everything that you're being taught to your life, man, and then you will grow and grow and grow, and you'll become a better person, and you will no longer be filthy. You'll be more than just some drug addict. You'll be more than just some alcoholic. You'll mean something, man. And after saying all this, I didn't even get into my topic, but read on. I had a topic that damn, I didn't even get into it. 16, 17.
Matthew 16 and 17. And Yahushua answered and said unto him, Blessed art thou, Simon Bar Jonah, For flesh and blood have not revealed it unto thee.
Meaning what? Man didn't reveal this unto you. Go ahead. Flesh and blood, go ahead.
By my Father which is in heaven.
But what?
By my Father which is in heaven.
Go ahead.
And I say unto thee that thou art Peter, and upon this rock I will build my church.
And upon this what?
Rock I will build my church.
And he goes, yo, you're Peter, and upon this rock I'm going to build on you, man. Meaning what? This place is what? You're going to be in charge of it, man. Upon this rock, upon this rock, I will build my church. Is synonymous with school. Obviously, we don't use the word church. It's Christian. So we say school. And he said, I'm going to build this on you, man. I'm going to build this on you, meaning what? You're in charge, man. Once I leave, you're the top dog. You're the highest ranking, man. You're in charge. And what you say goes. Go ahead.
And the gates of hell shall not prevail.
And the gates of hell shall prevail against what you're going to do, man. What you're going to set up. Nothing's going to prevail against it, man. But for time's sake, drop that. Any more on that? Is that about it? Give me last one. Give me 1 Corinthians 11:1. Yeah, that's it. No. I got some more. Give me 1 Corinthians 11:1.
1 Corinthians 11:1. Be ye followers of me.
And now, what did Paul say? Be what?
Ye followers of me.
Paul said, be ye followers of me, man. What did he mean by that? Read on. It's going to explain.
Even as I also am of Christ.
So listen, man. You people like to say, I'm not following man. I'm not following man. Yahushua was a man, but you're not following man. Paul was a man. You use like, will follow Paul and Christ, but you don't want to follow what? The men in the I.S.U.P.K. You need to be followers of us like how we are followers of Christ, man. Be a follower of Commanding General Yahanna like how he is a follower of Yahushua, man. That's what you need to be, man. Be ye followers of me like how I am a follower of Christ. Now, nowhere did it say worship. We ain't telling you to worship us. We don't ever say that, man. But people like to lie and say, oh, that's man pleasing. Listen, man. Paul's saying the same thing that we say. Read that one more time.
Be ye followers of me, even as I also am of Christ.
Drop that. Give me Ezekiel chapter 3 and verse 17. And listen, man, this office in here is a very important office, man. Don't be thinking it's a joke and, you know, it's a game. Thinking you can do whatever you want. Listen, man, in here, you're going to have to follow orders down to a T, man. Go ahead. With no excuses.
Son of man, I have made thee a watchman unto the house of Israel.
And listen, man, us in the UPK is who? What are we? Watchmen.
A watchman unto the house of Israel.
In here, we are watchmen to the house of Israel, man. Meaning what? We sound the alarm whenever something's coming, man. We tell you what you must do and what you mustn't do. And times like this shows you need to listen to the prophets of God, man. Because we have the answers. While the rest of the world is in a panic and in a frenzy, we out here with the answers, man. You want answers, you need to come and find these men of God. You need to come and find these men in the I.S.U.P.K, man. That's what you need to do. Find these men and listen to every single word they say. In times past, you might have laughed and joked and whatnot, tried to mock us. Well, now the coronavirus is here, these plagues, which is from the Lord. It wasn't made in no lab. It's not because it's not because of 5G internet. It's not because it's meant to distract us from something else. It's not because it's meant to distract us from something else. Listen, man, you black people talk about, us Israelites talk about, oh, this is to distract us from something else. Meanwhile, you smoke weed all day. That weed is distracting you from something else, man. That weed is distracting you from thinking straight, man. That weed is distracting you from having having a clear mind, man. And you're talking about this is distracting you from something else. Listen, man, we need to stop being so simple. We need to stop being so afraid of everything. We need to stop being so, what's the word? We need to stop being conspiracy theorists. I've seen some lunatic posting about, this next person's going to go to jail and it's in order and blah, 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 blah. I mean, you people believe the Simpsons is prophet. Keep believing the Simpsons if you want, man. You keep believing the Simpsons, man. Listen, Homer Simpson's an alcoholic that just drinks donuts all day, man. That's not eats donuts all day. Homer Simpson just drinks beer and burps and that's it. You keep following the Simpsons, man, thinking the Simpsons are prophets. You're thinking the Simpsons, Matt Groening's a prophet. Listen, man, prophets, Matt Groening ain't no prophet. The prophets is found here in the I.S.U.P.K. Read that.
Therefore, hear the word of my mouth and give them warning from me.
And do what?
Give them warning from me.
And we be giving you warnings from God. What do you think we're doing every week at camp? Giving you warning from God. We ain't telling you our own words. We ain't telling you nothing that's on our own mind. We giving you warning from God. We telling you what God's going to do, man. We telling you about World War III. We telling you God's going to destroy you if you keep smoking weed. God's going to destroy you if you keep taking drugs. God's going to give you AIDS if you keep being a homosexual. We give you warning from God that God's going to do all these things to you, man. And then what happens when you get these diseases? You sit at home and cry. When if you heeded the warning of what we're giving you, you would understand. Like you wouldn't have these things. Read on.
But I say unto the wicked, thou shalt surely die.
When I say unto the wicked, thou shalt surely die. And we be telling you this at camp. If you're sinning against God, you're going to surely die. We tell you at camp, if you're doing evil and doing anything wrong against God, breaking God's laws, leaning to your own understanding, thinking you're so right, thinking you know it all, you shall surely die. We tell you this, man. There's a reason we tell you this. Because we don't want you to die, one. And two, God's made us a watchman over the house of Israel. We ain't a watchman for everybody. People always say, oh, why don't you like get onto women of other races? You know why we don't? Because we ain't watchmen for them. We ain't watchmen for Arab women. We ain't watchmen for Chinese women. We ain't watchmen for white women. We ain't their watchmen. But black and Hispanic women, we are watchmen. And we're going to give you orders. And we're going to tell you what you can do and what you can't do. And we're going to tell you cover up and not to eat pork and not to smoke drugs. Whereas these other nations, we ain't their watchmen. So let them take drugs, man. Let them smoke weed. Let them do whatever the hell they want. We ain't their watchmen. God said we are watchmen over the house of Israel. Go ahead.
And when I say unto the wicked, thou shalt surely die, and when thou givest him not warning, nor speaketh to warn
It says, when thou giveth him not warning, we give you warning, man. What do you think all these classes is for? These YouTube videos, camps, these lectures. That's us giving you warning, man. We giving you warning from God so you don't die. Go ahead.
And the wicked, I warn the wicked from his wicked way to save his life. The same wicked man shall die in his iniquity.
Good.
But his blood will I require at thy hand.
And if you don't give them warning from God, God's going to require that blood of your hand. He died in his wickedness because of you, because you didn't tell him what he was doing was wrong. You didn't tell him it was wrong to be a drug dealer. It was wrong to be a criminal. So when he dies, just understand the Lord's going to require something from you because you was meant to be a watchman who was meant to warn him. Your pastor is the worstest watchman in the world. Your pastor is a watchman who has no eyes. Your pastor is a watchman who can't see nothing, who thinks he's a watchman who ain't really a watchman. The real watchman is in the I.S.U.P.K. Read on.
That's right. But his blood will I require at thine hand. Yet, if thou warn the wicked, and he turn not from his wickedness, nor from his wicked way, he shall die in his iniquity.
And listen, man, if you warn him and he don't listen, he shall die in his iniquity. Read the last part.
But thou hast delivered thy soul.
But what?
Thou hast delivered thy soul.
Meaning what? If you've warned him, you told him it's wrong to be a drug dealer and he goes and gets shot while he's selling drugs. It's not your problem. You told him, you've delivered your soul. Meaning what? You've done your part. Like what's that saying? You can lead a horse to water, but you can't make it drink. Listen, man, you tried to lead that nigga to water, man, and you didn't want to drink. So, you know, you've basically done your part, and the rest is his fault, man. He died in his wickedness because what? He didn't want to listen, take heed to the prophets. So you need to listen to these prophets in the I.S.U.P.K. and with that, I passed the class over to Priest and Officer 5000 to Officer Karafia.
Okay, top class. With the I.S.U.P.K. starting out of 1 West, 125th Street, Harlem, New York, under commanding General Yohanna, rule for a new brother and sister. When a new brother or sister comes to the school, they are off limits for 6 months. They are to be saluted only. They are here to shed themselves off the world. If they need transportation, the teacher will arrange it. After 6 months, if a brother or sister has an interest in a particular person, he or she must get permission from the head to speak to a brother or sister. There is another 6 months to court each other. After the 6 month period, permission from the head to marry. Tithes, which is Numbers 18:21, Malachi 3:8-10, means 10th in the Hebrew Ma'ashara, 10% of every penny of any increase the Lord gives you. Give to the Treasury Department or the teacher. Priest fund, not mandatory, whatsoever amount you like. Upcoming holy convocations. Further notice.
Upcoming holy convocations. Further notice. As soon as we find out when the new Passover date is to be announced, that's when we'll do it. But this is what you do. You continue as normal. Don't be trying to have some secret lamb dinner on April 9th, because that's not the Passover. And there's no feast of unleavened bread, because order and Passover come as one. So once Commanding General Yohanna announces Passover is on, that's when the Passover is. Up until then, just continue as normal. You don't need to take the leaven out of your house, because it's not Passover until then. And the scriptures to prove that. Moses said it in the law also, that if you're in a far journey or whatnot and you can't keep the Passover, you do it on a later date. And that later date is when Commanding General Yohanna decides it is. The man who's in charge of this nation, when he decides, that's when it is. That's it. So that up until then, just stand by. As soon as we know, we'll let you know. Go ahead.
Well, I captured the bulletin board the whole way. Anyone wants to be true to the I.S.U.P.K, start with all black boots, shirt, pants, headband, and stuff. With that, I Mariam, that rise and face the east. Abanawa, Shabbat Shemayim, Kodash, Hayah, Shamkar, Yahweh, Malak of Kar, Daba'ah, Ratazaka, Hayah, Aishah, Ba'aratazah, Kawab, Hayah, Ba Shemayim, Nafalinawa, Lakam, Cow, Yawam, Wasalakanawa, Kabawafnawa, Kasalakanawa, Kabawafnawa, Wala'ah, Dabayainawa, Banasaya one, Abor, Hawashainawa, Mayan, Right, Kaya, Laka, Hamalakwa, Waha'ala, Wahafapara, La'awalam, Amen.
Our Father,
art in heaven,
hallowed be thy name.
Thy kingdom come,
Thy will be done, in earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread. Forgive us our debts, as we forgive our debtors. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom, and the power, and the glory, forever.
So we got only one can speak to the teacher, men of Israel. I'm Adam Shabbat. I'm Adam. Barak. Yahweh Ba'Hashem, Yahweh Shai Barakatah.
Yahweh Ba'Hashem, Yahweh Shai Barakatah.
Yahweh Shai Barakatah. Class is missing.